Happy birthday, sweet 16. All right, enough of the off-key singing. Enough of the Neil Sedaka. I guess you're kind of hinting where this is going. Here I am, back for the 16th year. Me, my comedy, my opinions, everything. It's back for Kenny's 2 Pennies. First, I do want to make a couple of things here, asides. First, I'm dedicating this season to the big dog, Harold Weber. He was one of the great sports personalities of the Finger Lakes. He was very opinionated in that, but I respected his opinions. This season is for him, and this season is also for Walt Gable, who is putting up a hell of a fight right now. He's my buddy going to Cuse games. He was my 10th grade social studies teacher. Right now, he's fighting a big battle of his own against cancer, bladder cancer to be exact. And he's kind of reached a plateau in his recovery, and he's right now in Huntington. So, keep fighting, Walt. We're all praying for you, and thank you for supporting my show. Okay, now let's talk about Syracuse first. Yes. Colgate is always such a great time. Colgate has always been a big opponent, big rival. Although I will say in football, it kind of seems as though Colgate's kind of gone to the lower level. And of course, Syracuse doesn't play Colgate that often. But it's pretty good when the Raiders make that 35-mile journey from Hamilton up to the JMA Wireless Dome. Gotta catch myself there. I keep wanting to say Carrier Dome. But of course I said that for about 40 years. It's JMA Wireless. Well, it's always good when the Raiders come into the Dome. With Colgate, the almost Ivy League school, we can brush our teeth, It's almost like when a husband wants to talk to his wife after 2 years, he wants to hide his odors. So he uses the Colgate. Hi. And you want to let her know that your breath doesn't stink, but she goes, So she goes, But after 10 years, you just roll right over talking her nose. How you doing? I'm fine, how are you? Good. You gonna brush? No, today's Saturday. That's the way it felt Saturday. A big 65-0 thrashing of Colgate. Yes, it was. But I will say I see a couple of things about the Dome this year that I find a little troubling. First, it seems as though everything's now paperless, even paying for parking. Hey, isn't that what paper money, paper currency is for? It's easier to hand them currency, but no, they want to go entirely paperless, entirely, what? Well, something? What if the electricity breaks down? What the hell are you going to do? The old school way is still a good way to go, Syracuse. Bring back us using paper money for transactions like paying for parking and paying for concessions, especially if we want to get one of those Hoffman Dome dogs. What the heck is going on? I appreciate you wanting to help the environment, but this is ridiculous. And secondly, how about a dress code? Where I was sitting there in the Dome, one girl walked past me, and you know how these young girls are, the way they dress. One of them was wearing, she had very shorty shorts and was wearing almost nothing more than a bra. We need a dress code in the Dome. I think we need that. Well, getting back to what I was saying, other than those distractions, big win. And now it's time for me to get another up on my cousin, because Western Michigan, who's from Kalamazoo, where he lives, comes to the Dome to play the Orange. But I will say, Garrett Schrader, looks like there's no ill effects from that throwing elbow, and also LaKen Allen. Welcome back. Because, hey, you were kind of juked in the way that they handled that punishment. That fight wasn't your fault. You shouldn't have been suspended. Well, Alan, we could use you in the backfield. You're replacing a big one, Tucker. Plus, I mean, we got others there. Juwan Price and others in reserve. Plus, Arondi Gadsden. He's on the watch list, several watch lists for postseason awards. He's one of the top tight ends in the country, taken after his father, who was a pretty good wide receiver, even if he played for the Fish in the NFL. But what a good opening, Syracuse. And let's keep the momentum going. It's against Western Michigan. And I mean, take heed, Syracuse. Listen to some of my suggestions. Well, I'm going to segue from Syracuse to talking about Buffalo. This is opening weekend coming up, and it's against our old friends from Flushing, New York. Well, actually from New Jersey. They were in Flushing with Shea Stadium. But that part of New York City, they're always flushing down the toilet. Yep, the New York Jets. You know, we gotta flush them down the toilet. They're trying to buy a Super Bowl. You know, luring Aaron Rodgers from all of those years in Green Bay to the New York City. And I mean, it kind of looks a little weird, not wearing the G on the side of his helmet. But then you got Jets on the side of your helmet now, Rodgers. But you're still the same arrogant SOB that you've always been. And it's going to be brother against brother. Yes, Dalvin Cook was signed. And you know what? It's going to be a battle of the brothers, James and Dalvin. Which one can cook? Which one can saute? Which one can fry? Which one can broil? Which one can bake? Or any other adjective I can use for cooking. You know what? It's going to be an interesting game between James and Dalvin. And it's going to be a real interesting one with the coaches. McDermott, I know, cool and calm at times, sometimes animated. Robert Saleh, good coach. But I mean, he's always standing like this. You know, Mr. Saleh, kind of show a little emotion. You always look like you ate something bad. I mean, whenever the camera's on you, you always have that look like you ate something bad. Oh, you almost look like a frog that caught a nasty fly. You know how frogs are when they eat nasty flies. Oh, man! I could go without! Well, show some emotion, Saleh. And now a couple of nicknames I'm going to have for a couple of new Bills. One of them, our number one pick, who is expected to kind of go into two tight end sets and maybe pick up the slot receiver that Cole Beasley did for so long. Of course, Cole Beasley, he can't decide whether he wants to play or whether he wants to retire. He's on the practice squad for the New York Giants. Buffalo Bills South, if you get my drift. Yeah, the name is Dalton. Dalton Kincaid. He's the newest tight end, number one pick, and he's looked it. And for the second round pick, Mammoth Osiris Torrance. You know, if Osiris is a big road grader, he can make your life easier. And last but not least for new nicknames, one of the new defensive ends. You know what? His first name is actually Kalen. But you know when he sacks the quarterback, it's Mujahideen Kapuna Ford. Almost like when I talk about Crystal, the AD for Waterloo. It's Crystal Kent. You know, I gotta do that, especially with his name, Puna Ford. See, he can spit whenever he sacks the quarterback. See, he can Gunzai Te, but can he Gerzat? Who knows? It's time for these new Bills and for Josh Allen in a year of what I think is redemption for him, and also Stephon Diggs. No more soap opera stuff. No more General Hospital. No more All My Children. No more all of that. You dig the competition. Ding, ding, ding. Gotta put you in the vase, 'cause that's what you're gonna do to the competition, Mr. Diggs. Time for a year of redemption. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's put the Jets back into Flushing. And last but not least, a shout out to the local sports, especially football. Thanks to my friend Scott Maloney, who's the new head coach for Waterloo football. Guess what? And Section 5 kind of realized, hey, that kind of schedule wasn't conducive the last couple of years. The rivalry is back. Waterloo and Minders is back this year. And you know what? Let's break out all of our streamers and everything. Blue Devil and Tigers. Yeah, let's just say, I almost wanted to say Indian, but it's no longer the Indians. Of course, it's the Tigers. I think Minders is going to make those Tigers perfect, if you know what I mean. Or the Tigers can send the Blue Devils to hell. Whatever. But I'll also say about the volleyball team. You know what? They didn't really open the season very well. But what a nice surprise they pulled for me, because it was my birthday right around the time of their first game. To all of the Waterloo volleyball players, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And that's how I close my first episode of this new season. Be ready. You've seen a little hors d'oeuvre this morning. Be ready this season. There's more to come.